out come the Bulldogs, led out by Reid Marnie and Matt Burton. Josh Addo-Carr is a try-scoring specialist at this venue, and he might get plenty of chances tonight if this man is on song. He's kicking in these conditions, should be pivotal for the Bulldogs here tonight.
Absolutely will be, because in these conditions, kicking will be vital. High percentage players kick long, but this kid has the arsenal to launch a rocket into space. And considering that Tom Chester, only in his third game, the NRL at fullback, that might be something to keep an eye on.
And there is the Fox. He scored 19 tries in 15 games here at Accor Stadium. That's a remarkable record. Remembering, of course, he scored 6 in one game as a Melbourne Storm winger. Here he is in great form to begin 2023. Stay on side. And it's the Cowboys to get us underway. It's wet and wild on this Sunday night. As the Bulldogs bring it away, and Max King it is to play it just outside their own 10. Marnie at dummy half. He comes here back to Faitala Mariner running hard. Stopped by a wall there of Cowboys defence, including Cohen Hess, who leads the charge, along with Mitchell Dunn, who's in the starting side tonight. His first appearance for 2023, almost 12 months after doing his anterior cruciate ligament in just the second round of last season. Marnie waits at dummy half. Comes back to the middle here. They work it up. Tackle on Ryan Sutton. Just inside their own 40. Burton will kick from inside the red stripe. It'll go down to this right wing where Kyle Phelps is on one side of the field. And Brendan Elliott on the left wing for the Cowboys on that eastern touchline in this first half. Good chase by the Bulldogs on Phelps. Townsend feeds it off. See how they fare here. They were down early against the Titans last week and trailed in that one 8 points to 0 before they got going and scored 3 straight tries to take the ascendancy there and eventually win that game 24 points to 12. Their 2 wins, 2 losses, just like the Bulldogs. A clean playing it here. Robson to the left-hand side. No Ruben Cotter again, of course, tonight. Might be back next week, perhaps the week after, with that knee problem. Townsend's kick goes down to Hayes Perham. Such a mover and dancer with the ball on those kick returns. Might be difficult tonight, though, in these very greasy conditions, although the surface is in pretty good condition.
Yeah, solid start from both teams. The Cowboys struggle for meters, so the fast-moving defensive line of the Dogs stands up in its first set.
The Dogs through King. Bring it back here just into Cowboys territory. Marnie waiting. Rain very consistent at the moment. A little reprieve during the afternoon, but it was hammering down here only half an hour ago. As Flanagan plays it, comes back to the middle. Waddell into this starting side. A reshuffle for Cameron Ciraldo. Now Flanagan, feigned a kick, goes to Faitala Mariner. He'll be taken down there, and that'll be the changeover on the last. He's been left on the ground here as well, has Roman Faitala Mariner. Was he dazed in that contact there as he went to ground?
Our cameras will check it, because he carried the ball off Flanagan on the 5th play, chose not to kick it, went for the run. He's come up dusty. This will show it here.
Nothing very obvious there. Did his head
contact
make
Valentine
contact?
Holmes there?
Oh, just a head clash. That's all it was. The side of the head of Holmes making contact with Faitala Mariner, and given that he was left on the ground, you'd imagine he'll come from the field for a full head injury assessment. It's a blow to the Bulldogs early on here if that's the case, and given what we saw and what we now know, it'd be a huge surprise if he was to stay on the field here. And even if he was, I think the independent doctor would get involved and say, better come back to the dressing room.
Yeah, I would have thought so. In terms of, start to this game, young Cole Flanagan under pressure this week after the performance versus the Warriors in that loss last week. And he's had a run in that set and then chose to run again on 5th play. So always a sign from a half when their first touch is a run. They feel like they're dialed in and ready for a big performance.
So I guess the on-field clearance for the moment. We'll see if that stays that way once the doctors have a look at the replays and the way he stayed on the ground there, Faitala Mariner. For the moment, it's the Cowboys to play it here just inside their own 30, and there is the whistle.
Tackle 2.
Said this for some time now, Cooper. I think the day of the on-field assessment has come and gone, or should have at least. We see this time and time again. If you feel it's necessary to send a trainer out there to check on the player, it's necessary to bring him from the field for a full test.
It's almost inevitable. The NRL stands by its protocols, and that will be in place at some stage, because no doubt the trainer knows their player the best, but there's someone with higher power making those decisions, watching every camera angle.
And after he's been spending some time in the middle of the field recently, last week against the Warriors in particular, Jaden Ockenbaugh, better known as a winger, is the replacement. He'll take over in the middle of the field for Faitala Mariner. Certainly has the body to play in the middle of the field, or on an edge perhaps. That might be the reshuffle as Townsend puts it in the air. Coming forward here, good catch made by Perham. He'll play it eventually, dragged back by Hiku and also Tom Dearden, just outside his own 10.
And it'd be interesting to see if Chad Townsend spots that Ockenbaugh defending 4 in on the right-hand side, because Townsend likes to play like he's a quarterback in the NFL, organise that attack and see if he can get Tom Dearden with that speed, making Ockenbaugh make double decisions defensively.
Goes out through the hands of Ockenbaugh now. Good hands, in fact. Carraz down the sideline. Terrific tackle made there by Dearden. Covered some territory there to pick up a real speedster. The Bulldogs back. 40 out from the North Queensland line. 4 minutes gone here. No score as yet. At Accor Stadium, Burton it is. Goes end over end. Plenty of hang time on it. Feld is underneath it. He leaves the ground. And Adokar is there to wrap him up. We go down to a very wet and sodden Darcy McDonald-Darcy.
Well, good evening, gents. The weather has been pretty poor in Sydney today, and it hasn't gotten much better tonight. Very wet, as you said, Warren, down at ground level. And to preserve the field, the Tarsha Cup game that was meant to be playing here this afternoon was rescheduled. 2 great stories to celebrate in this game, though. Josh Reynolds' return to the NRL and Riley Price's NRL debut. A support crew of 50 family members and friends have made the trip to Accor Stadium to cheer him on.
Will be quite a moment, won't it, when Riley Price, 21 years of age, son of Stephen Price and Joe Price, nephew of Brent Tate, makes his first appearance for the Cowboys. Son of a Bulldogs legend. Quite the coincidence that here they are playing Canterbury this evening. As Townsend kicks, goes down the middle of the field, allowed to bounce there by Perham. Picks it up in his own 20. He's got plenty of support there, and they'll use it as well. Some hands on that right-hand side. Boy, confident with their handling tonight. Flanagan kept it going for Avarillo. They like their chances down that right edge, obviously.
And an interesting mindset, too, from the Bulldogs, because you go back to round 1 when they got beaten by Manly. They came out and blew the Melbourne Storm off the park through skill and execution. And if they lost last week at the Warriors, anything to go by, they're looking to back their play and their skill again in tough conditions today.
Marnie waiting here. And it's Flanagan, just chips one in behind. Trying to find the touchline there, going across. Chester is there, he'll clean it up. Still there filling in for Scott Drinkwater, obviously. He'll be back next week. His suspension ends after round 5. The tackle he made, of course, which took Corey Oates out of the game back in round 2. That affair at Suncorp Stadium against the Broncos. Kyle Felt, 25 short of the halfway line. Here is Townsend, lovely ball there away through Hiku. He's got Hess back on the inside. Hess can't get there in time, so he takes on Perham, who cuts him down. Hess fires it to Townsend. They're lined up to the left. Dearden kicks, nobody at home, only needs a bounce, and he gets one straight from room service. What a heads-up play by Tom Dearden. They cut them open down the right edge. He knew there was no fullback there, with Perham making the tackle on Hiku, and the bounce was perfect.
And to score the first points here this afternoon, it was a play by the halves. Beautiful play there from Townsend down the right-hand short side. Adokar went for the intercept. That put Peter Hiku in the backfield, and with Perham making the tackle, Tom Dearden, eyes up, footy IQ, kicks the ball for himself, and there is no one in Cooey except for the Jacob Carraz and Tom Dearden with a heads-up play. An outstanding result for the young man who basically turned the game on its head through his running last week against the Titans. Has come up with a great play to start the game today.
He was in an important part of that comeback last week after they were down early against the Gold Coast before the Titans had their own injury worries. Dearden, what a story he is. Unwanted pretty much by the Brisbane Broncos, and who knew how it was going to turn out when he moved mid-season to the North Queensland Cowboys in 2021, but he took the opportunity with both hands, and he has been great for them in this improved form over the past season and a bit now under the coaching of Todd Payten. Valentine Holmes. Jason to the uprights. Good strike from him. And just like that, the Cowboys lead the Bulldogs here. 8 minutes gone, 6 points to 0. Watch it again. Townsend knew it had to at least go to the left. Dearden said, well, no further than me. I've got all the open space in behind the line that I need.
Yeah, it's just a reaction to do it quicker than anyone else, because he saw that Perrin was in the tackle, and just as soon as the ball got in his hands from Townsend, he kicked and knew he was chasing. Jacob Carraz's reaction was okay, but wasn't fast enough for Dearden.
A spectacular try to begin things here this evening. After what was a crazy, crazy game at Shark Park for Game 1 earlier this afternoon on the Sunday tickets. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you sit down and watch all 80 minutes of it. An absorbing contest. That might be the understatement of the year. So it's Lukey to play it. In the starting side for Todd Payten and the Cowboys tonight, returning of course this season from his own knee issues. They're back just inside the 40 as Robson waits for it. Comes back to the middle. And they just punch it forward there. Mitchell Dunn takes the carry. Last play for Townsend to kick. And hurried as he was, they'll come down comfortably here for Adokar, who will bring it back and plays it just short of the Bulldogs 30. Good set for the visitors off the back of points. Flanagan goes to that right-hand side. And they do some dancing there to play it just outside the 30 through Jacob Carraz. Here's Perrin. Taking his nose through the line. He'll ask some questions in these greasy conditions of that middle third defence of the Cowboys, perhaps towards the back end of the game especially. Robson ducking and diving. I thought there might have been a penalty there, so do the fans. Avarillo, he follows suit, jumps out from dummy half. They stop him 30 away. Goes back to Burton. He'll kick out towards the wing of Carraz. He flies, makes the catch, gets it back to Wockenball. He kicks, his pressure. Flanagan on the chase. Was a touch by the Cowboys. It looked as though it was. And the referee confirms.
Well, I think Dearden just scored one, and he's just saved one through his effort here at chasing the Wockenball kick. Because he gets to it first, forces it over the goal line. That'll be interesting to see what the review shows here, because Flanagan touched it also.
Yep, goal line's correct, let's go.
And the goal line is correct, as we hear in the rest, Mike.
Stay on side.
Dearden's shovel out the back just did either touch the line itself or just be on the line, because it has to touch the ground either on the line or beyond it for it to be dead. Otherwise, Flanagan may well have been deemed to have made the ball dead. The Bulldogs have it. 25 out on the Cowboys line. Comes from Marty. Burton was wide, back to King. Said restart here. Cowboys trying to slow things down in the first tackle off the back of the dropout. Flanagan for Burton. Townsend up very quickly there, did a nice job shutting that play down. Stays on his feet though, Matt Burton. He'll play it for Marty. Here's Flanagan again. Perham floating out the back. Flanagan takes the tackle though, wrapped up pretty comfortably there by Taumalolo and also Lukey. Now from Waddell. Burton. Preston almost into a gap. Cut down by Hiku. Try saver there. Money comes out the back. Burton taps it on, and the Fox can't come up with it, although The Cowboys are pinged for being offside on their own line.
Definitely difference in game plan here this afternoon, because look, as Preston goes close, the Bulldogs are happy to play expansive. They're going to back their skill in tough conditions as Burton pats it on. But the Cowboys are playing conventional wet weather footy. They are one-out runners through the middle completing their sets. But on the other side, the Bulldogs are happy to back their skill.
So it's Alamotti who taps it. Gives it off to Jacob Preston. What a story, isn't he? First season in the NRL and locked down a starting berth immediately. From Sutton it goes to Flanagan. He takes them on. Lukey is there to stop him. Got some help from Dunn. Working hard from the inside also. And they've used up a couple of plays. Here's Waddell. Striding out, wrapped up by Robson though, and also McLean. They're in front of the uprights. Marnie for Flanagan. Ockenbaugh on the charge. Well handled there by Did and giving away plenty of size in that contest. Marnie goes from dummy half. He got the ball down. The only question is, did he tunnel through the legs of Jaden Ockenbaugh on his way to getting to the line?
Balls in at the ruck and disadvantages the line.
Referee said no try, so he's got the best eyes on this. From our position, I have to agree. Yeah. There'll be a no try.
Almost certain as he goes into the legs there of Ockenbaugh.
The person playing the ball and gains an advantage from this. We have a decision.
One look is all they need. That's about as straight forward as it gets in regards to that situation.
And talk about style of play. Kyle Flanagan.
It's a penalty here.
Only 4 runs this year.
Go through the legs.
In the first 20 minutes here, he's already had 5 runs, so he's looking to play on the front foot and take the line on tonight. In tough conditions, that's a good mindset for a half to have to start a game.
Well, tested them out on that right-hand side in particular. A scare for the Cowboys, but they hold on with defence. Repeat sets of 6 from inside their own red zone. Watch it again. You see from behind there, you just can't go through the legs of the man who's played the ball to disadvantage those tacklers trying to get to the ball carrier. And that's what Marnie did, and off the back of that to compound it, the Bulldogs give away an offside penalty here.
This will be the Cowboys' first set start attacking the Bulldogs area, and let's see where they go. They'll be targeting Jacob Ockenbaugh in terms of trying to get him to defend multiple times this set. So look for the Cowboys to shift left here.
They lead 6 points to 0. Yet to have a play the ball inside the 20 though, as Townsend goes through Dunn and then Lukey. That by some good contact, and they drag him back beyond the 40. Dell was there, so was Sutton. There's Taumalolo, who have a standing start. Marnie in an awkward position there, but bounces back to his feet. He's okay. Robson looking to his right-hand side. Townsend turning it back on the inside there for McLean. Good tackle by Reid Marnie. Quick play the ball though. They're off and running on the left. Townsend goes short to Taumalolo. He's stopped there by Ockenbaugh as he hurt himself. There was a reaction straight away from Jaden Ockenbaugh, who put his hand in the air. He knew that this man, Jason Taumalolo, had an issue.
Yep.
Ooh, left ankle.
And something of a hip drop
Ockenbaugh
motion.
on the back.
Watch this. Uses the hip there onto the lower leg of Jason Taumalolo. That was a big talking point in our previous game between the Sharks and the Warriors, and that looks to be very much a textbook hip drop motion there.
The tackle's on report for a hip drop, and you're in the bin.
Jaden Ockenbaugh goes to the sin bin. No surprises there, given what we've seen so far with his crackdown on the hip drop. Just that motion there. He had options to do something other than that and chose to came down with the weight of his body on the lower leg of Jason Taumalolo. It's a dangerous play.
I can't argue with that, because we want this out of our game, because Jason Taumalolo looks like he's okay. He'll come from the field. The game wants to get rid of these tackles, and falling on the back of the hip on the leg of someone who's pushed through the line is a no-no, and That's the right call.
Well, the Cowboys, on a wet night, points might be at a premium, you'd think. And Holmes, the same spot where he converted the try by Gideon a moment ago, makes it 8-0. The Cowboys over the Bulldogs here at Accor Stadium. Our final game of round 5 coming to you the Fox League on the Sunday Ticket. Watch it again in normal motion there. It all happens very quickly, but he grabs him around the hips and then chooses to swing his body onto the lower leg of Jason Taumalolo, and it's fortunate that Taumalolo is able to continue on here.
That's what happens when a body like Taumalolo gets through the line. Ockenbaugh tries to stop his momentum by falling down the back of his legs, and that's the way the game needs to eradicate that tackle from our game.
So with the foul play being a key factor there from Jaden Ockenbaugh, it's a free interchange for the Cowboys and Jason Taumalolo. So they decide to maybe go a bit earlier than they would have with Jason Taumalolo, and he comes from the field 15 minutes into this game. A shift here, Townsend. Both teams a fondness for using it to the right edge tonight. Spin here through Dunn up towards the 30. Big pressure. And the Bulldogs here to try and hold them out if they can for the next 9 or so minutes remaining while Ockenbaugh is in the sin bin. Neem it is who's out there for Jason Taumalolo. That change made by Todd Payton. Townsend kicks. It goes down to Perham. They'll bring it back here. Good chase from the Cowboys. 10 players right across the line here. And Perham stopped inside his own 20. We go down to Darcy.
Things have gone from bad to worse for the Bulldogs. Raymond Faitala-Mariner has failed his HIA and will not return tonight.
There's a massive blow. They lose a middle, and the man who replaced him, Jaden Ockenbaugh, now in the sin bin. So it's all hands to for the Bulldogs early in this game. Addo-Carr coming back towards the middle. Bulldogs 2 wins, 2 losses coming here tonight. They went down in controversial circumstances at Mount Smart Stadium last week against the Warriors. They had back-to-back wins, though, against Melbourne and also the Tigers. Their 2 wins to this point of the season. Burton brought down comfortably by Neem. Chester makes a good catch on the chest. And he brings it all the way back to the 30 for the Cowboys. And we've had just over 16 minutes. That's all the Cowboys on the scoreboard to this point. Play it there through Brendan Elliott. And now carried by Valentine Holmes. He reeled back there as he hit the turf in the tackle of Flanagan, but he bounces to his feet quickly. Here is Chester stepping through almost the front line. Robson goes out of dummy half. Bearden given a hard ball to handle there. It was a catch and then contact situation from Flanagan, but he was able to hang on to it. One more here for the Cowboys. Goes back to Townsend. He'll kick out towards Hiku, and Hess, who is a noted leaper. Did he get a piece on that? He may well have. Felt, kicks, keeps it in play. Now it bounces. Hiku ends up with it. Boy, he went close.
Out to the 20.
He was waiting for the referee to check this. When they all sat back and allowed a second kick to come, see the hands there from Hiku knocking it on eventually as Preston got back there to put pressure on him. If he takes that, he might well get it down.
But what a play from Kyle Felt, because the ball bounced and went to the sideline. In one instance, caught the ball and flicked it on his right boot and kicked it over basically his left shoulder, and that gave Peter Hiku a chance. But the Dogs are struggling here with Ockenbaugh out for the next sort of 8 or so minutes, because the Cowboys are just peppering that hole where he would normally be defending, and they are poking their nose through basically on every carry.
So another 6 minutes remaining before Ockenbaugh will return to make it 13 against 13. Set restart here for the 12-man Bulldogs. Will certainly help use up some time on the clock as Marty fends away from the tackle there. It was Dunn who was left on the ground. Fans screaming for a penalty there. They thought there was something untoward in the tackle. The Cowboys weren't onside as Marty goes back to King. Takes it towards the uprights, 15 away. And go to the right edge where Flanagan turns it back on the inside for Sutton. Chester was under pressure, did very well in the end. Got some help underneath there from Cohen Hess. Marnie, he goes to Burton, Grubbers, Preston's there! Preston came up with it and scores for the Bulldogs. They're down a man, but they find a way to work it downfield, and the kick was perfect for that man, Jacob Preston.
Very impressive set from the Bulldogs, considering they're a player down. Went from the Petahiku opportunity to score a try all the way down the other end, where Matt Burton just put it on an absolute dime for Preston. This is where it all started. It's the fact that Petahiku went for it, went absolutely close, and it was the man who scored the try with the try saver in the corner. Go down the other end of the field, and Matt Burton, centimetre perfect on a kick, and in tough conditions, Preston just gets there through tenacity and determination before any of the Cowboys players do.
He timed it nicely, didn't he? Just waited for the ball to connect with the turf and plant it down at the same time. Hiku was there scrambling, trying to prevent it. Chester coming across, couldn't get there in time. The weight on the kick from Burton was terrific. And Jacob Preston, 2 tries now, nominated by Phil Gould, the football manager at the Bulldogs, as a future leader of this club. They rate him so highly. Made his debut at Brookvale Oval back in round 1. He went to school across the road at St Ignatius College. He won his debut against the Sea Eagles. And he's entrenched in this Dogs lineup, and now from beside the uprights, Burton, importantly, using up more time on the clock while they're down a man with Ockenbaugh in the sin bin. He makes this a 2-point game. It's a try apiece. It's the penalty goal, the difference. We go down to you, Darcy.
This may only be Jacob Preston's 5th NRL game, but he's already becoming a cult hero at the Bulldogs. The club spotted him in the Roosters system last season and signed him on his first top 30 deal after just a handful of New South Wales Cup games. He was one of the best trainers over the pre-season, and as you touched on, Warren, he's dubbed as a future captain by Phil Gould. He's of the Josh Jackson mould, a no-fuss, hard worker. A pretty big compliment from Gould there, one of the most respected minds in the game.
It's another of those players too who, when you think about expansion in the NRL, has really come from nowhere. 21 years of age, wasn't on the radar to be playing in the NRL this season until the move to the Bulldogs, and just like that, a good pre-season, he locks down this left edge position. Here he is, working it forward to take it just outside the 20. 3 minutes remaining for Ockenbaugh in the sin bin as Sutton straightens, springs it across the 30. They've done well to hold out the Cowboys and use up so much time with the ball in their own hands. Marnie again, just probing out a dummy half. Might be death by 1,000 cuts through the middle of the field tonight. Just get out of dummy half, take the meters when they're there. Try and find a lazy forward on this greasy surface. Burton, end over ends. The kick has gone to most of the time in 2023. Good catch made by Kyle Felt. Haven't seen too many of the spirals, the big torpedoes from Matt Burton so far this season. That one had Felt under pressure. That was a very good catch.
Yeah, the Dogs have managed this time without Ockenbaugh very well. They looked a little bit hesitant with defence, and Cowboys were sort of rolling and getting meters, but when they've had the ball in hand, they look powerful, they look energetic, and they're just rolling through the middle and causing trouble for the Cowboys with extra defenders.
Offload there from Valentine Holmes, likewise from Robson, and Neem it is. It brings it back to almost the halfway line. They've had 4 plays in this set. Townsend double pumps it. Hess taken down around the legs there. A good tackle by Alamotti. Carr makes sure he doesn't get up to go again. Townsend, he'll put it up. Bit of a wobbly old one. Awkward for Perham, but he does well to make the catch coming through. He was wrapped up eventually there by Holmes, who was a terrier, making sure he hit the deck. Now Carraz dancing back towards the middle. Wrapped up there eventually by a trio of defenders, including Jermaine Tanoa-Brown, who's on deck now for the Cowboys. Burt, a shift just outside the range 20. What a fend by Alamotti. Preston on his outside, and O'Carr was there. Boy, he is strong. Still a teenager, is Paul Alamotti. What about the strength he showed there?
That was impressive. And Peter Higu is a big man himself. Here's the replay. Big right fan. It's back to live pitches. There's an early kick. But Alamotti, get that in you, Peter Higu.
As Cameron Serraldo said just recently, as Marnie makes a great stop there on Chester. They've got the Cowboys battling here and this crowd very involved. And now they give away a penalty.
That was you, mate.
Oh, there was an ambush coming there from the Bulldogs. Instead, they give away some cheap meters and 6 plays down the field.
Chart on the mark there, mate.
Watch it again. They just got off a little bit too quickly there for the referee's liking. Would have been Burton in particular on this left-hand side. Back to Alamotti. Cameron Serraldo said recently, haven't even scratched the surface of his potential. And sort of a bit of it there. What a powerfully built teenager he is. Ockenbaum back on the sideline. There he is, back on deck now. They're back to 13 on 13, so what a period for the Bulldogs. The 12 men to hold out the Cowboys and score short-handed. Down 8-0 off the back of his sin bidding. It's only 2 the difference now. Did it to the left edge. Elliott back in. Has been playing with the Townsville Blackhawks to begin this season in the Host Plus Cup there in the QRL. It's a chance here tonight with Murray Taulagi out of action for a few weeks to come. Townsend, short ball there for Neem. Good stop by Preston. Bulldog, though, has been left on the ground behind the action. Townsend kicks out towards Felt, up against Adokar. Alamotti got a piece of Felt and took him down illegally. Issue back through the middle of the field is Max King, who was left on the ground. Remembering they've already lost Raymond Faitala Mariner, who failed his head injury assessment back in the dressing room. Cowboys have a penalty coming up, and it's for that there, just going off his line and taking Felt away from the challenge. Can't argue that one.
This is the King injury. Just might have been a poke in the eye, but nonetheless, it looks like he's in some trouble.
And you've got the finger there of Preston. Oh boy, that eye is almost completely closed already. And back here, Jacob Preston.
He's got an issue with his fingers.
He may have dislocated his finger in that collision. I think he has, with the eye there of Max King. Talk about double jeopardy. That's nasty for Max King. They have massive drama here for the Bulldogs. He can't see out of that left eye. Jacob Preston can't feel his fingers, or maybe he just can't feel it too much. One of the two. Oh. Wow. He's got to come from the field and will do. So they're down to 15, hoping that Preston can continue on. Have you ever seen the likes of this? A finger in the eye takes down the front rower, and the back rower dislocates his finger in the process. That is remarkable. So the tape job here for Jacob Preston. Boy, he's really struggling with that, isn't he? Cameron Serraldo, he can't believe his luck. How many black cats did he come across on his way to Accor Stadium tonight?
I can't say I've ever seen anything like that happen before, Warren, but this again gives the Cowboys another good attacking set.
And here they are. Bulldogs are bruised and battling. And right in this contest, Robson. He goes to Townsend, out to Dearden, back on the inside, Lukey. He's a big and rangy edge forward, and back on the angle there. Well stopped, though, by the Bulldogs' defence. Curtis Moran is out there now to change the King. They spin to Noah Brown. Moran's there once again. Midway through the set, they're deep on the left edge. Neem charging hard. Good effort. Was it Preston who got to him? No, it was Waddell. Now Townsend goes out the back. Dearden's there again. There were players who hit the deck. And the decoy run by a Cowboy for the Bulldogs, but it's play on. Townsend will chip it out towards Hiku and Hess. Off Bulldogs' hands. It falls to the Cowboys. They might have been held up. McLean ended up with it. He thinks he scored. So do his teammates. The referee is less than convinced.
No try. Confirmed there's a knock-on from the Cowboys.
Knock-on from the Cowboys, but Josh Adokar and Alamotti are high-fiving in the background. So they believe Cohen Hess knocks his
Cowboys
back.
kick chase. Just looking at any potential knock-on and who the ball comes off of.
It's going to be Alamotti and Adokar on Jordan McLean.
Off the right hand of Alamotti and backwards towards the opponent's try line in regards to Hess being involved as well. So
Cohen Hess's hands are in front of the ball and he pushes it backwards. We're playing on at this point.
No problem there for the Cowboys. McLean ends up with it. Alamotti recovered. Adokar was also there. And then the ball comes free. So it hit the deck, but he lost it.
And if we go all the way back to the opportunity for the set.
Knock on from Paul Alamotti.
Checking if Alamotti has knocked this on as opposed to Cohen Hess.
It's all back with the Cowboys.
I thought Alamotti knocked it on fairly clearly. Taking off his right handers.
And Jordan McLean loses the ball in the end goal. We have a decision.
Well, they're going to say no touch by Alamotti. So they continue to find ways to hang on the Bulldogs.
If we go back to the original reason why the Cowboys had that set, was the obstruction call, the escort call that Paul Alamotti did on Kyle Felt. So he has made up for his play there because that was a hell of an effort, him and Josh Adokar stopping the front rower.
Cowboys go close on a couple of occasions. Hiku almost scored, McLean almost scored. It stays a 2-point lead. The Bulldogs here. Burton kicking. Adokar was on the chase. He ran into the back of Kyle Felt, and it will be deemed that he was taken down illegally.
Well, we're going to have to see a replay of this. That it was a set play, worked all the way over the right-hand side of the field, and Adokar came in off his wing one spot to chase the Burton kick, and as Kyle Felt deviated from his run to stop him.
He turned his shoulder inwards and then planted his feet. You watch just that half a yard that he went in to take away the line from Adokar. The Bulldogs fans were screaming for a professional foul and 10 in the bin.
I think that helped their cause then, the Bulldogs fans going up.
Now Marty. Bypasses Burton, cleaned up here, and Hiku, what a catch off his shoelaces. Picks it up and brings it back almost to the 30. Miscommunication there between Marnie and Burton. And North Queensland survived to pick it up and grab great meters once again. Look at this. Preston was thereabouts. He couldn't get to it. A great piece of work by Hiku. Tough tonight. Rain still falling here. It's eased off, but still drizzling at the moment. It's in the Olympic Park. Now Robson out of dummy half. Goes to Dearden. Here's Valentine Holmes to the outside of Avarillo. Couple of speedsters there. Holmes has dropped it. Good work by Avarillo to stay with him. They're fired up, these two teams.
Valentine Holmes wants a challenge. He's adamant that the Bulldogs have written this out.
All right, Chris, we have the captain's challenge. Cowboys are challenging the decision of a knock-on.
A long way to go in this game. Holmes thinking this was certainly ripped out.
Jacob Carraz is just making a tackle. Val Holmes has a loose carry and loses the ball forward. Challenge is unsuccessful.
That's a poor choice by Valentine Holmes, given what we saw just then.
Yeah, and considering the conditions, you imagine that the challenge is going to play a part at the back end. This is going to be a tight contest. 8-6 in the first half. Tough conditions, so they've already burnt their challenge early.
Imagine a scrappy night with the balls bouncing around, squirting here and there at times. There's going to be more situations where you'd like to have the challenge in your back pocket between here and full time, but they're done for the night. No doubt Amarillo just making a tackle there. They're coming away in what was deemed a loose carry, quite obviously, against Valentine Holmes. So the Dogs to work it away. Back within 10 of the halfway line. One try apiece. Did so well in that 10-minute period while Ockenball was in the bin. Here's a chance. Avarillo, Carraz, kicked inside. It looked like Marnie was offside. He's knocked it on anyway.
Good call, Warren. I agree. He was offside. Be interesting to see if the referee would allow this to play on, because good play down here, the short side from Kyle Flanagan, double pump, but Marnie already in front of Carraz, and he knocked it on. The referee looked like he was going to allow that to play on.
That would have been alarming had he done so, because there was no doubt Marnie there was in front of the kick from Carraz. He's going to have both feet back behind the ball. The point of the kick, that didn't seem to be the case. Turned out okay for the Cowboys at any rate. With 10 remaining in this first half. Cowboys to work it away. Despite the conditions, both teams have played plenty of footy so far here tonight. It's been great to watch. Who knows where we might end up given what we saw at Shark Park earlier this evening. One of the more remarkable games we've seen for a long, long time. And there's been plenty already this season. Incredible action in 2023 live on Fox League. Taumalolo for Dearden. And now out the back again. Taumalolo returning from that problem with the ankle off the back of the hip drop from Ockenball. Townsend's kick from inside the 40. And it doesn't threaten the sideline here. The Fox grabs it, brings it back at speed with those day-glow orange boots. Just to emphasise the speed that he possesses. A slashing try last week. That was a losing effort against the Warriors. Ockenball is out there reprising a role from when he was a winger with the Bulldogs. Playing as a forward though here this evening. With Raymond Faitala-Mariner out of the game, failing his head injury assessment. Max King for the moment also out of the game with that nasty poke in the eye from Jacob Preston. They play it there through Waddell. And Sutton gives it on to Moran on that right-hand side of the field. Last tackle for the Dogs. It goes to Burton, who puts it in the air, end over end, out towards Elliott, coming through Carraz. Happy to let him make the catch and then try and drive him back into the in-goal area. Flanagan, take it back. A bit of crowding there. Elliott tries to milk a penalty. Has to go back on the spot and play it. Here's a chance for the Dogs to muscle up and really put some pressure on these next couple of carries.
Yeah, interesting, these two teams obviously coming in this contest, 2 wins, 2 losses, but both at different stages in terms of mindset. The Cowboys trying to find their rhythm of last year of being conservative, and the Dogs on the other hand, they're trying to get Ciraldo's style up and running through confidence, shifting the ball particularly to the right hand side. So contrasting styles in this first half.
The coach watching on anxiously at the moment. Kick from just outside the 20, so good defensive set by the Bulldogs. Good catch by Adokar equally. And now Perham to bring it back. And they'll begin here, 10 on their own side of halfway. So they're winning this arm wrestle at the moment. But no, they were until Alamotti. Just a lack of concentration there. Just a simple carry, a change of possession. He's put it down so cold to the Cowboys here. There it was. Hands out in front, greasy ball.
You see how it pitches there. You got Chad Townsend knows that's an opportunity. As you said, Warren, the Dogs were coming with a little bit of possession in the last 5 minutes, but now the Cowboys and Chad Townsend knows that he's tightened the screws and got an opportunity here.
Completion rate of both teams has been good. Cowboys 14 of 16 for this set of 6, which begins 40 metres out. Robson, Taumalolo, looks like he's free in his running action there after that scare with the lower leg. Townsend finds Hess. Sutton is there with Preston. Out to Neem. Now Dearden finds Chester. He got past Avarillo. Carraz missed him as well. Flanagan did well to clean him up inside the 10. From the corner of the field, Dearden looking for an option. Taumalolo, always a good one. Grabbed there by Moran with some help. The Cowboys have one more. Goes back to Townsend. He'll grab it this time. Hiku's chasing. Hess! Hess put out a big right mitt and planted the ball down to score for the Cowboys. What an effort by Cohen Hess. He must have Tarzan's grip on that right hand of his. How did he bring it down and plant it on a night like this without knocking it on?
This is going to be a hell of a play here from Cohen Hess. As we lean back here into the kick, whole right side was chasing. Oh, we have to get a close up of this. Alamotti had an air swing, let it go. And Cohen Hess from over the top, has he got it? No.
It looked like he bounced it there. And yes, the bunker will get involved here and slow things down.
We need to check for a possible knock-on.
It's closer than it looks because the fingers are there on the ball for a long time here.
From Cohen Hess.
What happens in the final frame will be crucial.
Touches his hand at this point. There is now clear separation before he gets his hand to the ground, which is a knock-on. We have a decision.
Yeah, thank you.
He says...
Cohen Hess is claiming his fingerprints were on
the
it.
fingertip on it. He's claiming the hand of God.
But Alamotti will be very glad that that hasn't become a try. Because if we go back to the original set, he was the one that dropped the ball on the first tackle and the kick return, and then had an air swing at Cohen Hess over the top. So Alamotti is grateful that that wasn't a try.
A couple of millimetres, maybe a fingernail. That's all it was. The difference between try and no try there. It was tight. Stays at 8 points to 6. 6 out from half-time. And Yvonne Sampson and the boys back in the studio to take you through all the action. Hasn't there been some on this incredible Sunday ticket? Here's a penalty to the Bulldogs. Ockenball held down way too long there by the Cowboys. And Mamluki involved, and they'll bring it down to go deep on the attack.
This is the perfect time for that Burton-Addo-Carr combination to come alive in this first half.
So it's Moran to take it forward. Played here, 30 out, with Marnie landing at dummy half. Almost the entire Bulldogs lineup out here on this left-hand side of the field. The roars go up. Pele takes a carry there. Burton, Grubbers very early. Addo-Carr chasing, so is Alamotti. Kyle Felt taking no chances.
That was a good play because they shifted out the right-hand side. They got Chester to move out of the line and go the long side defensively, and they shifted back. But just the timing on the outside, Alamotti wasn't moving, nor was Addo-Carr. But it was a nice set play to get the fullback out of position, but Kyle Felt read it first.
Just couldn't take the chance. It was going to sit up off a point there for either Alamotti or Addo-Carr. Good dropout. It was all the way down to Hayes Perham. Big Franklin winding up. Bringing it back at speed. He gets the crowd involved. They enjoyed that. He's a carrying specialist. Especially on a dropout, gives him as much time to wind up as he had just then. He's a sight. Here's Moran. Big step off the left foot. He just about had them skittled as well. Desperate stuff in the middle from the Cowboys. From Marnie. Set restart. Burton staying alive. Grabbed there by Chester. Wrapped up by Neem. They've got a full set from 5 metres out. Pele again. Trying to hit and spin his way in. Can't do so. Game number 4 in the NRL for him. Hasn't scored as yet. Ball goes to ground. Holmes is there. Cleans it up. Gives it off to Elliott. He's away. Plenty of speed around him. They had him covered pretty quickly. And Avarillo, Perham was also there. Carraz on the scene. But a chance goes begging for the Bulldogs. And the Cowboys, the tackle's up their sleeve. Coming to get them here again.
Great defensive play from Valentine Holmes. Used the line speed, the aggression, and spooked the Cowboys and pounced on that ball. Great play from the centre.
Taumalola, 35 away from the Bulldogs line. Townsend for Dearden. Goes first man to Lukey, but he's wrapped up. They were sweating on him. Ockenball was there with Flanagan. Back to the middle. Townsend kicking. They'll do it over again. Hiku's there, so is Hess once more. Addo-Carr takes a very good grab. The catching from the outside backs tonight, especially Felt and Addo-Carr, who've done the majority of it. It's been outstanding.
Jason off that ball. Mark square,
Difficult night. Looking up into the raindrops. Lights bouncing around. They've been great.
Jermaine onside.
Here is the Fox to play. Burton from dummy half goes to Perham. They'll bounce it forward. Pele's there again, leaving Cowboys straggling behind him. And Waddell. So good stuff from the home side to bring it all the way back to the halfway line in this set. Off the back of the catch by Addo-Carr. Burton looking for a spiral. It's a floater, all the same, a difficult one for Chester. He makes a good catch. Just to emphasise the point of how good the back three have been.
He loaded the trigger then, Matt Burton, with 2 minutes on the clock. Didn't get a hold of it, but here's a take from Chester. Did well, stumbled at last second. Did a very good job.
He was trying for the spiral, Matt Burton. Going to be a difficult one all the same for the Cowboys. Fill-in fullback. Oh, Hiku's lost it here. I don't think there was any help from Alamotti, and they don't have their challenge.
Done it early with Valentine Holmes. And this is another really good set or opportunity here for the Dogs. This is the perfect opportunity to come up with a scrum play they've been practicing.
And part of the problem, as we've seen, with using your challenge early and burning it, is teams can take a few chances in a situation like that, get away with a bit of gamesmanship. There might have been a little touch there from Alamotti under the armpit of Hiku, but when you haven't got the challenge there as security, teams might just take their chances a little more often and see if they can force a mistake from you in the play the ball. The Bulldogs might have got one just then. Here they are through Burton playing it. Spinning, Waddell trying to get away there from the tackle of Neem. Now he's put it down.
Where do you want it?
Hiku will be massively relieved. Good effort. A tackle there from Griffin Neem. And there's no complaints from Corey Waddell.
Well, both teams started this contest with
go,
decent handling in tough conditions, but just falling away in the last 5 or 10 minutes, both teams. Physical contact, it's probably a thing the coaches will speak about at half-time, is when defending, make sure your point of contact is around the ball. The opposition might just turn it over.
Off the back of the scrum win. Barely time for 3 or 4 plays before half-time. As Hiku brings it forward. He'll be happy just to get to the sheds here with his 2-point lead. He's up very slowly here, Peta Hiku. Taumalolo, Dearden, Holmes. They'll throw a shot at the Bulldogs with Carraz. Good stop there, jamming in from his wing. They go back to where he normally defends, though, immediately. Dearden, the heads-up piece of play there by the 5'8". They've got one last chance from the far touchline. Townsend, Holmes looking for a 45-metre field goal. It was worth a shot as the siren was sounding, but it didn't have the length nor the direction. And at the break, we've got a good one here tonight at Accor Stadium. It's the Cowboys who lead the Bulldogs 8 points to 6. We'll come down the tunnel here. Hayes Perham and his wingers, Josh Addo-Carr, also Jacob Carraz, were tested out by the kicking of Chad Townsend. They're outstanding under the high ball. Likewise to the Cowboys back three in that first half. Jacob Preston, he returns. He was part of that incident with Max King where his left hand made contact with the eye of Max King. We believe he might have split the webbing as well as maybe dislocated a finger there in that contact, which has taken King out of the game. So the 21-year-old has bandages left, right and centre. Watch it again as Neem takes a carry. The left fingers there of Preston jamming into the eye of Max King. It was a very nasty one, and King, I assume, will not be back tonight, but we'll confirm that with Darcy McDonald on the sideline in just a moment. So Matt Burton gets us back underway here. The second half between the Bulldogs and the Cowboys, or Tom Dearden He had a moment here at a venue where we've seen a few moments of kickoffs, but he juggled it again, didn't spill his lollies. A heart and mouth moment for Todd Payton watching on. Boy, he had about 5 juggles. Yeah, that was pretty clever, Cooper.
It was pretty good, and there was obviously a lot more up for grabs in the moment you're talking about with the drop kickoff or the restart of game a few years back in a grand final, but Tom Dearden was thankfully held on to that one.
Here is Taumalolo, who was out of the game off the back of a piece of foul play. It was a call by the bunker on Jaden Ockenball, who provided a hip drop tackle sent to the sin bin. That'll be reviewed by the match review committee quite obviously. Townsend's kick goes down here to Perham, who will bring it back beyond the 20. Brings it away from the sideline. Good work by the fullback, who has been very solid since taking over the fullback's job for Cameron Ciraldo in 2023. We'll have to go back and play it here again. Walked off the mark there, did Perham. So that's the Bulldogs there. Chance to keep the roll going on the kick return. And now Addo Carr to play it just outside his own 20. To the middle, where Corey Waddell started on the edge. Had to move back to the middle in this reshuffled lineup with Raymond Faitala-Mariner ruled to have suffered a concussion and out of the game early in the first half. So they're down to 15 at the moment. As Burton kicks, he tries to lob it over the head there of Kyle Felt, who turns around and sees the ball lob very gently to him. He, like Perham before him, brings it away from the sideline, and we'll go downstairs for a half-time report from Darcy McDonald.
Well, Cowboys coach Todd Payton loved the kick pressure he saw in the first 40 and believes the Bulldogs' main attacking threat is their kick, so wants to see that keep going. He also said to win in these conditions, they have to fight hard. As for the Bulldogs, Cameron Ciraldo acknowledged that Tom Dearden and Reece Robson are the Cowboys' danger men, and they need to shut them down. And an update on Max King, the Bulldogs are refusing to rule him out at this stage. They've got an ice pack on his eye, hoping to reduce the swelling.
Now that man waiting on the bench. There is Max King in the background with that ice pack on the eye, and the crowd here sees Josh Reynolds on the big screen. They react to it. And Terry Lamb, probably the most popular Bulldog in history, but Josh Reynolds, for a player who didn't win a championship with this club, he's not too far behind Barber.
He gets a standing ovation every time he gets on the big screen, and everyone cheered, and Max King with the ice pack on his eye turned away because he was in the sights of Josh Reynolds. It'll be standing ovation again. Remember his scenes at Belmore, but imagine him coming back on some stage in this contest soon.
2017 was the last time Josh Reynolds took the field as a Bulldog in the NRL. Saw him in action during the pre-season. Scored a try against the Sharks, in fact, in week 2 of the trials at Belmore. That was popular. Now here's Flanagan kicking, chasing through Averillo, but Holmes with his speed able to turn and bring it back. He went a long way last week, went 90 metres in fact to score an intercept against the Gold Coast Titans in that 24-12 win. He was almost off and running then. Phelps comes back to the 40 here. Midway through this set, the early minutes of the second half. Good strong tackle here. Franklin Pele through the middle. Just closing the door there on Peta Hiku. Now Taumalolo, watch it again. He just lined him up and drove that left shoulder into the ribs and the ball there of Peta Hiku. Dearden. He'll kick, coming out Ockenball this time. He levelled the kicker. Contact was okay, says the referee, and Perham is stopped here inside his 10. Couple of big shots from the Bulldogs forwards.
The intensity to start this second half from the Bulldogs. It was first Moran with forced the air off the first set from the Cowboys, and then a couple of big shots. One Pele, and then the other one here. Here it is, the Ockenball one. That's fair game. A good effort there from the back rower.
He was in mid-air there. Happy that he was wrapping the arms. Now the carry from Averillo. There's a chance there for Lukey to steal it one-on-one, but Averillo did well to hang on to it. Perham, with that footwork of his, quickly through the hands they go. Back out to Averillo. Flanagan heads up piece of play to keep the switch of the attack going. Marnie runs to dummy half. Goes to Flanagan, who'll kick from around about the halfway line. Floating backwards. Felt is there again. Rain has eased up, I dare say. In fact, for the moment, might have eased off completely. A nice reprieve for the back three in particular on both teams who've had to contend with the rain and the lights in a drizzly early evening. Oh, Robson from dummy half comes back to the middle. Bouncing away from tackles. Elliott's there and still going. Taken down eventually. Great carry by the utility, who's filled in a number of roles for a number of clubs. It's the Seagulls or the Knights. Cowboys a couple of seasons now. Robson goes one way, comes back the other, still going. Eventually taken down, only just there by Pele, and Chester goes to dummy half. Townsend kicks. Perham's there, leaves it for Addo-Carr. Coming through, Felt was thereabouts. So was Hess. Addo-Carr again makes another good catch. They have really tested him out. He's been good.
I think Cohen Hess has taken up the role of Jeremiah Nane, because every kick that Townsend puts up, Cohen Hess is coming through. So keep an eye on that back in this game. Cohen Hess really backs himself in that contest.
He has been playing on the left-hand side of the field to begin this season, Cohen Hess, but he's out there on the right with Nane out of action until round 7 following his suspension for a dangerous throw. Waddell brings it forward. The Cowboys tonight without Reuben Cotter, Scott Drinkwater, Nane, and also Murray Talangi. They are missing some firepower. Burton from just outside the 40. Won't threaten the sideline. Chester is there. He looks up, sees the chase of Addo-Carr. He does well to nab him at the red stripe. And Townsend from dummy half feeds it off to Kyle Felt. The Fox is there again. Strength of Kyle Felt, though, shrugs him off. Eventually wrapped up by Preston and also Marnie. In fact, just on 7 minutes plus in this second half. No changes yet to our halftime scoreline. Cowboys by 2. Here's Holmes out of dummy half, testing out those Dogs forwards. It's a reshuffled pack, quite obviously with the injuries they have. No Faitala Mariner, no Max King for the Moans. Dearden kicking down towards Perham. He'll make a catch. It's away from Lukey. He'll throw himself off the top turnbuckle there to try and make a tackle on the fullback. Here's Carraz.
It's only almost 10 minutes into this second half, and Cameron Serraldo's made the first interchange, getting Ryan Sutton back on the field, because there's just a little bit of lack of connection defensively through the Bulldogs' middle third. Valentine Holmes went through. Dearden and Townsend are trying, so he wants to short that defence.
You don't need to know what was happening to realise what was about to happen. The kick from Marnie as the Dogs and the Cowboys go set for set to begin the second half. The ball hasn't gone out of play as yet. Oh, Chester on a very cloudy, drizzly evening. The full moon is on display. So is the grub. There he is. Josh Reynolds is back in the NRL as a Bulldog once again.
I got thrown before because I thought it was a line break or something big, but it was Josh Reynolds standing up, warming the shoulders up. And the number 14 is out there in the middle third of the field for the Dogs.
There was a number of things happening there for a moment. Here's Neem back on the inside. Robson backing up. Runs towards Ockenbaugh, who takes him down. The Cowboys with 2 more plays here. To the right edge they go. Townsend's there, chipping in behind them. That's a good kick. Addo-Carr under pressure. He had no option.
It was a good set there from the Cowboys, while all eyes were on Josh Reynolds returning to the field for the Dogs. The Cowboys, just multiple players through the middle, found the weakness, got through, and there was a nice little kick on the end. It was Neem pushing through the middle. Reynolds slips over. Just a really good awareness from the Cowboys to play through the middle in tough conditions, and then the quarterback Townsend just chips it over the top and gets a repeat set.
So the first repeat set of this second half. And it's Dearden who makes the catch to give it to Neem. Reynolds is there and he runs straight at him. That was almost Sam Burgess on Michael Ennis here on a famous Easter Monday. McLean bringing it back. The ball comes free, ripped out by Burton. It was 6 again anyway. Now a whistle.
First one, Dogs.
And it will be a knock-on against Matt Burton.
Clock on.
Griffin Neame, zero respect for the return of Josh Reynolds. Just picked him out and just give him everything he had.
Boys, back in
Well, I
line,
thought the Cowboys had
touch.
turned over the ball. They're going to get reprieve here and have a set shot. I like the speed of Townsend in these conditions and the footwork, along with Tom Dearden.
Townsend waiting to feed it here. The numbers on the left-hand side of the scrum. Dearden showing it, staying alive. Got past Reed Marnie, who was defending one off the scrum. And now Lukey towards the uprights. Under pressure was Josh Reynolds. Did well there to take down the big back rower. Goes out to Taumalolo. Neame hit right around the ball. Good stop by Burton with some help from Preston. 6 more tackles, though, for an infringement by the Bulldogs. Hess off a short ball from Townsend. He's only a metre out.
6 more.
He'll play it eventually. 6 again is the call. Now Taumalolo. Marnie put his body on the line there. He thought the ball came free, and it did. He forced a mistake from Jason Taumalolo, and look at the reaction from the Bulldogs.
And the little terrier, the little number 9 with the headgear on, just goes low, forces and stops the momentum of Taumalolo, and it was Ockenball over the top with contact on the football. So skipper Reed Marnie got the momentum stop, and Ockenball came over the top and finished off the tackle.
Jaden Ockenball, the former winger, now a middle forward in 2023 for Cameron Serraldo, and forced to play a lot of minutes tonight right there in the engine room. And they survive after the Cowboys got that first chance. Riley Price prowling the sideline. Son of Stephen Price, the Bulldogs legend himself, about to get his first run, it looks like, for the Cowboys in the NRL. He's certainly hoping that's the case. Reynolds turns it underneath here for Ockenball. Reynolds in that running lock forward, ball playing role as well through the middle of the field. The extra link man out there. Did well defensively in that previous set. Now here he is at first receiver. Goes to Burton. They're very deep. Perham's there. So is Alamotti. As he gets back on the inside of Hiku. Some help from Cohen Hess takes him to ground. 40 out. Last play. Burton had to wait. The strike is a good one. Here's a spiral. Catch that if you can. It bounces. Flanagan tapped it backwards. Marnie had a play. He only knocked it on.
Corey, you're the marker.
Have you ever seen a kick in our game where the whole crowd holds their breath when Burton starts to fire the rocket up and let launch? It goes up and no one wants to go near it. The ball bounces. And a little tap back from Flanagan. I thought Marnie, if he gets that clean, there was an opportunity for the Dogs to get in the backfield.
Riley Price is out there now for the Cowboys. It is remarkable. Takes his first steps here in the NRL on this right-hand side. A carry immediately. He got a hand there from some of the Bulldogs fans as well in recognition of what his father meant to this club. Great moment for the Price family. Presented his jersey by his dad before kick-off here today. That was quite an emotional scene down there in the Cowboys dressing room. Robson to Townsend. Here's Chester chasing through up against Perham. Perham makes a good catch. It's been a night to remember for the work of the fullbacks and the wingers. Chester comes away clutching his chest. They came together heavily. Perham made a great catch. Now Addo Carr under pressure. Cowboys trying to muscle up. See if they can limit the metres here. So far they've been effective. Marnie gets out from dummy half, goes long. There's the contest again between Perham. Almost pinched it away. The Dogs take a chance here. Rejoin the action live there. Avarillo only just staying in the field of play. Good work from Reynolds. Perham back to Reynolds. He'll basketball it. Burton goes over the top. And they've created something here out of absolutely nothing. The Fox, he's away. Hurdling defenders. He kicks. The chase is on. Getting back to clean it up. Tremendous work by the Cowboys. The Bulldogs give away a penalty because the tackle had been completed before they dragged Elliott back into the in goal.
Great interchange of passing from the Dogs. It was a peach of a pass from Matt Burton to Alamotti. And there goes Addo-Carr. Kick infield. There was a number of Bulldogs players coming through, but Elliott from the other side of the field did a tremendous job. The Dogs players, Reynolds blowing up the Larks, but you cannot do that. It's the right call from the referee. Once the player is submitted in the field of play, you cannot pick him up and drag him back.
And that rule was changed a number of seasons ago, maybe as many as 15 seasons ago, to try and help out wingers and fullbacks who were bringing it back and couldn't surrender in a tackle in what was an old school voluntary tackle. So
go out the back, you got blood, go out the back.
There was safety uppermost in the officials' minds. They changed that rule where you could bring it back from the in goal and just hit the deck. Hiku has an issue here with a cut to the left eye.
And this game's been close the whole way through. I feel it's just about to open up a little bit because both coaches have recognised they've got Reynolds playing through the middle and Jake Granville's out there for the Cowboys.
Oh, Lukey almost made a clean bust there. Just as you were saying it's about to open up, Cooper, and instead, in playing it here, he gets back to his feet. That's all good. And then he just toes it forward. Right in his face. Better give him a bit of stick. One Jay Reynolds.
That's what the coaches are looking for. They feel like the conditions are slippery under feet. They want some big boppers to create momentum. But Josh Reynolds for the Dogs and Granville for the Cowboys want to get first receiver and try and promote the ball. See if they get someone like Dearden to run for the Cowboys or someone like Burton with a big left foot step back inside. So I think this game's about to open up.
Don't forget, beyond full time tonight, Sunday night with Matty John. Special guest is the Knights fullback, Lachlan Miller, who's been a revelation in the one jersey. And what a game in Mudgee yesterday for them against the Seagulls. One of a number of incredible games so far this weekend. And it's after full time on Sunday night with Matty Johns. Slow play the ball here for Carraz. Now Waddell. He has been good working through the middle in this reshuffled forward pack. For Cameron Serrato, he leads all the metres for the Dogs. Burton goes to the left edge. Taking it forward, Preston taking some stopping there. Hiku was there, so was Price over the top, trying to slow things down. Reynolds back to the middle. Cowboys were sweating on it though, as Sutton was the target. They're 15 metres out, trailing by 2. Goes across to Burton, comes out the back, Perrin showing it. Did Felt get a touch there in making the tackle on Alamotti?
Where do we want it?
The call is no, and it's a lost ball for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Perrin knows it. He needs to be better there. The 3-on-2 was created, and poor execution. Burton did a good job, and he's got on the outside, double pump, just threw the wrong ball. He should have hit Addo-Carr on the chest. But the Dogs have missed an opportunity there.
So still, not quite midway through this second half, no change to a halftime scoreline. Cowboys 8, the Bulldogs 6. Warren Smith, Cooper Cronk, Darcy McDonald bringing you all the action. And it's been great viewing on this Sunday ticket live on Fox League. McLean goes beyond the 30. Robson for Griffin Neame. Picked off there. The contact was high from Sutton.
Just wait.
He puts his hand up and says, yes, my mistake. No complaints there about the call. There he was, just hanging that right arm out around the neck with Griffin Neame.
Yeah, Griffin Neame's had some good touches in this second half. Just physical and knows that he needs to play one way, and that's straight up and down. There's Max King. He had that eye issue in the first half.
Looks like he's just walked off the set from a 1930s horror movie.
He's
That's
taken
a nasty one, isn't it?
He's taken the jacket off and getting an interchange card as we speak to let him come back in the action.
And this is remarkable and also courageous. Who knows what damage there might be to that left eye, but you're right, Cooper. It appears that he's about to come back on. There he is. A bit of spray on the hands. He'll be back out there in a moment. One tough hombre. It's Max King, quite obviously. They're at the 20. It's Jake Granville out there at dummy half. Dearden here, Lukey running a good line, taken down by Flanagan with some help from Waddell. I'll keep it coming to the left-hand side. Dearden again, Grubbers this time. A ricochet. Perham's there. Cleans it up and stays in the field of play. He lost the ball. He lost it in thrashing around. As Townsend was holding him down, he tried to get back to his feet, and they are going to challenge.
Yeah, worth the challenge here.
We have a captain's challenge. Bulldogs are challenging the decision of a knock-on. They believe that there was ruck interference.
Because if he feels like he hasn't knocked this ball on, this is a turning point if it does, because tight contest, oh, that's a clean loss.
Just looking for a knock-on from Hayes Perham. Townsend's hands are away from the ball, and Hayes knocks it on there. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful to knock on, there's no more challenges. In the middle.
They're done as well.
And
Cowboys burnt theirs in the first half, and in hindsight, that was, as it was for the Cowboys, a poor decision.
Yeah, and Perham knew it too, because in this context, 8-6, 20 to go, he came up with the ball and he knew if he's turned that ball over, the Cowboys right now have the opportunity to go further ahead. If not, at least get a repeat set, start turning the screws on this contest. So they're in pole position here, the Cowboys, if they can get a really good set here.
Perham trying to draw a penalty there, but he just can't afford to plant the ball on the ground while he's laying still on the ground. The referee make that call. Townsend back on the inside here for Hiku. Has a bandage now into that cut around the left eyebrow. They're inside the 10. They expand this lead. It's been 2 forever, it seems like. Neem got away from Sutton, cleaned up by Reynolds. Robson feeds it for Townsend. Goes to Din. First man option was Lukey. He gave it on as well to Chester, who rolls his way in. Rolling downhill, he comes up with the cheese. He extends the lead here. Chester, he scores for the Cowboys. It's a 6-point buffer.
Sometimes as a ball player, the best decision is just to give it to an edge-back rower who's running harder than the defence is willing to tackle. And Helam Lukey, on this occasion, was shot out of a cannon to the outside shoulder of Flanagan. That allowed him to get the hands away to Chester. And that is beautiful hands there from the fullback. Moving at speed, under pressure. Great work there for the back rower and the fullback combining to score the try. They will check this because there is a bit of ball movement on the initial part, but first look, geez, that's good.
I think we will check this. But after a couple of quick looks, the bunker says green lights. They're happy. I thought for a moment we may well have had a Bradman Best situation from Mudgee yesterday, but they're happy that Chester has hung on to it there in the contact. It was a good tackle initially from Kyle Flanagan on a charging Helam Lukey. The pass was equally good to that man Chester, who grabs his 3rd try in 3 games now in this role, filling in for Scott Drinkwater. He has been super solid, with Drinkwater, as we mentioned earlier, back next week from suspension. Now Holmes try and make this an 8-point lead with just over 18 minutes remaining. Struck them well so far tonight. And this one equally so. Good kick by Valentine Holmes. And it's 14-6. Still plenty of time here for the Bulldogs though, Darcy.
Indeed. Well, Tom Chester has certainly made the most of his opportunity at fullback. That's now 3 tries in his 3 games. As you mentioned, Warren, the local junior has been filling in for Scott Drinkwater for the last few weeks. But with Drinkwater due to return from suspension last week, Chester's immediate future in this side is unclear. He'll have to give up that #1 jersey. But he's got a background in the halves and outside backs. In fact, Coach Todd Payton has said he can play pretty much anywhere but the front row. So perhaps he can challenge for that bench utility role.
He certainly has been durable. There's no question about that. And this stands the tackles of the Dogs as he goes across the line to hang onto the ball and get it down cleanly to make it 14-6. We had to wait a long time between drinks as far as scoring was concerned in this game. Preston scored back in the 20th minute to make it 8-6. It stayed that way for the next 40 minutes until Chester was able to score there a moment ago. Dearden playing it here. Robson, what a great ball there from dummy half. It beat everybody. Granville ends up with it. Now Townsend, oh, he put them under pressure. Riley Price ended up with it. Welcome to first grade, Riley. Good hands to come up with that one after he was put under massive pressure. Last tackle for the Cowboys, who lost their way. It means that Townsend kicks from well inside the 30. It's a good kick, though. Torpedo goes all the way down to the 20, where Perham will bring it back. And they'll begin just inside their own 40. How many points have they got in them here? Between this point and also full time, as Townsend pushing up in defence on that right-hand try. Trying to herd Max King back towards the middle there. What an effort by Max King this is. We'll get further news as to the condition of his left eye beyond full time, obviously, but it's courageous. Now Carras back away from the sideline. They're at the 40. Only 2 plays remaining in this set. They need some territory. Not a great ball there for King. Reynolds goes long out to the left-hand side where Alamotti gets held up. He's going nowhere, though. From sideline to sideline they've gone without making any real ground. They began just inside their 40. They barely picked up 20 metres in that set. Left a bit to be desired given the situation in the game. As Elliott brings it back, they'll get 4 on the tackle here, the Bulldogs, and drive him back inside the 20.
You see for the Dogs what their mentality is. They came in this game with a lot of confidence shifting the ball around, but now time running out, scoreboard pressure. That set was poor. They were clunky to the right and even more clunky going to the left-hand side, but in terms of consistency, they look like they're more effective going to the left-hand side through that combination of Burton, Alamotti and Addo-Carr.
Kyle Felton left on the ground here, clutching at his neck or head. Burton making contact there around the bouts with the head, and then came down with his chest on the back of the head of Kyle Felt. This angle here may show it a little more cleanly. Awkward position. And he comes down on the back of the neck. I would think, having had a couple of looks at that, the bunker may well take a dim view of that. Or will be revealed.
Traditional crush is where the body stays compressed on the back of the neck. The only thing that will save Burton here is while there was pressure, he did release at some stage.
When we take a look at Kyle Felt, it looks as though he's going to play the ball here, and the bunker is happy that the actions there of Matt Burton don't warrant a penalty. And so Felt will play it just inside his own 30. There's a bit of a tweak of that situation as far as the referees were concerned during the off-season. And so Robson will work it from dummy half here as McLean takes it forward. Don't forget, short turnaround for the Bulldogs. In 5 days' time, they're back here taking on the Rabbitohs in the now traditional Good Friday blockbuster. You can get your seats at nrl.com/tickets. It's always a beauty. A big crowd will be here. Some great ones, controversial ones. The biggest moments we've seen in recent seasons happened on Good Friday right here. Dogs taking a chance inside their own territory here. They'll play it through Preston. Need to get something going in some of these carries. They battled in their last set in a similar situation. And look at the Cowboys. They've got energy here. Taking a carry, trying to hurdle players. Came to Pele. He plays it quickly enough. Marnie jumping out, but nobody pushing up with him. Good hands. Perham tipping it on. It ends up in the arms of the Cowboys, but there was a player taken there on suspicion.
And the penalty goes against Elliott, who took out Avarilla, I think it was. Passed out the back. Right call, because he tackled Avarillo without having a chance to get the possession back for his team. They need to shift the ball left here, the Dogs. If there any chance of fighting back win this game, it's to the left-hand side.
It was a clumsy-looking build-up. They get a penalty off the back of it. They needed something to get a set here inside the 20. Still just under a quarter of an hour remaining, so all the time they need in what is an 8-point game. from Flanagan. Goes back to Averillo. Perham's there. He'll hold it up and take the tackle of Granville. Price was also there with Robson. Marnie. He goes to Reynolds. Does well. Flanagan wants Perez to go back on the inside. He runs in behind Ockenbaugh and then offloads it. Luckily, it went backwards. Play on's the call. Boy, Carraz took a chance there. Comes to Reynolds. He gives it off to Max King. Just inside the Cowboys 10. We've got 2 plays remaining. Flanagan tries to grab it, toes it forward, knocked on. It looked like by Robson. It's going to be a penalty to the Bulldogs. Offside is the call against North Queensland.
Yeah, Flanagan spotted Chester in the line, but poor execution. He got lucky because the kick wasn't great to start with. It got trapped and followed through. But that's where the penalty happened.
Touched by Robson, and the teammate fell on the ball in Griffin Neame, who is there to make a tackle here on Max King. He'll play it 5 out with a full set. Reynolds, short ball. Pele, good catch there. Still going. Taken down eventually. Townsend was there with help. Now Preston! He reaches out. But a great ball from Marnie. What service he provides. And Jacob Preston, in all likelihood, will make this a 2-point game. The Dogs fans are back on their feet.
And it was to that left-hand side. Preston with his 2nd try, but for the 4th try assist this year, Reid Marnie, tremendous craft. Got to the outside shoulder of Griffin Neame. Petahiku came up way too far past the football, and the Bulldogs skipper picked out Preston, delivered on a plate, and he was close enough, had the strength to hold the ball up long enough and get the ball down. Game on.
With that injured hand as well. The one that did the damage to the left eye of Max King. King's out there congratulating his fellow injured Bulldog. A couple of tries tonight for Jacob Preston. Boy, he's a gamer, isn't he?
He said he's captain material, and he's just tenacity and will to fight in every contest. But geez, Reid Marnie's really delivered in terms of being skipper of this club.
Oh, he's missed to the left-hand side, Matt Burton. It stays a 4-point game, but it's just the one score, the difference between the two of them. With Josh Reynolds back in blue and white tonight, and a player maybe in his own mould, and Jacob Preston, who grabs a double here. That's the try he scored off the Burton kick in the first half, and the pass from Marnie right on the chest was terrific as well, Darcy.
A huge effort just by Jacob Preston to get back onto the field. He actually split the webbing in between his fingers and had to get that stitched up at half-time. So a superhuman effort to be out there scoring a double. And as for Reid Marnie, that service from dummy half, Cameron Serraldo told him that he wants the team to feel his presence, and boy, hasn't the marquee recruit certainly done that over the opening month of the season.
Very good again tonight. Well, always seemed destined to work out this way. It would be close at the death. It's that kind of weekend. Perhaps it's that kind of season here in 2023 in the NRL. Here's King to play it. Marnie, it goes to Reynolds. Oh, now the ball put down by the 2-try hero. Preston with the error. And the switch back on the inside gives the Cowboys a chance just to regain the ascendancy beyond the converted try. There it was with Robson just coming across to make the tackle. The ball coming away from the back row.
Yeah, you give the young man a rap in his next touch. Just poor security of that ball. He spun out of one tackle, just didn't protect it like gold enough and turned it over. And here's the again for the opportunity for the Cowboys to strike.
So let's see how cool they are. Remembering they're missing strike power, and Scott Drinkwater in particular. He made it so much in the early rounds last season once he took over the fullback role from Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. He's doing great things himself for the Dolphins in 2023. Here's Lukey. Takes it inside the 20. Robson waiting at dummy half. They're flat on the left-hand side, so they go towards Townsend on that right edge. He shows it. Nobody falling for a dummy, though, from the halfback. Too much burner tackle right there in the tackle of Preston. There's an issue for Halem Lukey out here on his left-hand side. He can't run at all. They're playing a man short at the moment. Robson goes to Townsend, kicks into the defence, cleaned up there by Burton, and he was offside.
No, it's not accidental when he picks it up. When he picks it up, it's a penalty for offside. If it ricochets off him, it's accidental. Touches Paul and you're in front.
Because he deliberately played at the ball, having touched a teammate who was behind him, it's offside and not accidental offside there. In the case of Matt Burton, do you take the 2 here to make this a 6-point lead?
Absolutely. Inside 10 minutes, make this a 2-score game. And the Cowboys will take their time. Valentine Holmes wind down the clock slightly and try and make this 6 points.
He was in no hurry to come across and take a look. Lining up this kick, there's Burton, who picked it up having touched Alamotti. And there hadn't been a touch by a Cowboy in between Alamotti and Burton.
There's been a real shift in the game in recent years where you used to let kicks go through the line and let the fullback deal with it. Teams now are definitely trying to trap and scrap the ball, and that's the issue with doing it. Some work, some don't, but when you trap it and you're in front and then it ricochets off your other player, you can give away the penalty.
Paul Bowman, he might have been out in the car park. It took him that long to get out there with the kicking tee, so they're really milking this to wind down the clock, aren't they? Stop now. 8:55 remaining, given how long it's taken the Cowboys to get this kick underway through Valentine Holmes, who's been outstanding tonight. Given how well he's striking them so far. Backing him in to make this a converted try, the difference with just under 9 minutes remaining. The boos ring out around Aquila Stadium from this Bulldogs crowd. Outside the 20. Holmes with the strike. It's waved away though. He misses. Goes dead on the 4. So it will be a restart from the 20 from the Bulldogs. And Todd Payton knows what that missed kick may well have meant.
Yeah, we saw in the earlier game what Sean Johnson did, and then Nico Hines had an opportunity. This game is with 8.5 minutes to go. He's poised to go down to the wire.
Burton goes deep. It's Chester on the chase. He hands it off as they will bring it back here.
Read off the ball, Josh back
It's
here.
Dunn is back out there. He'll play a 10 on his own side of halfway as Hess dropped down by Marnie around the legs. Marnie almost 40 tackles now to go with his work in attack. Tamalolo steps off the right foot. A couple of carries to bring them back to the Bulldogs 40. Granville as Hess trailing with him. He's back on that left-hand side now. After being on the right edge for most of the night. Short side Ray, Dearden for Holmes. Marnie was there. Good effort to close the door on him with the help of Jacob Carraz. But they're 10 out. Last play. Dearden kicking. Chance. The kick that normally goes towards Jeremiah Nane is cleaned up here by Mitch Dunn. And the Bulldogs have survived. They'll begin at their own 10.
This is the short side players. Big hit there from Carraz and Valentine Holmes. Dearden thought he had an opportunity to try to tow his centre into it, but good defence there from the winger.
Need something going here, the Bulldogs. Under pressure now, they've lost their way completely. Perham looking for an option. Nobody putting their hand up for a carry. Waste attack. Now Pele from almost a standing start. Minimal gain there. 3 gone. Still at the red stripe. Ockenball. He gets them beyond the 30. Good carry there. Stands at 196 centimetres. Weighs 108 kilograms. Certainly more than big enough to play in the forwards, the former winger. Big shift here. Burton for Alamotti up against Hiku. Fends away from him. We know what a fend he has. They get themselves out of trouble, the Bulldogs. A big shift, but now the last. Burton chips over the top. He needs a bounce. What a bounce he got. He runs towards Chester, puts another kick in. It's still there. They go back and clean it up through Felt, but the Bulldogs, from some brilliance from Matt Burton, get themselves 6 more.
And here it is again. That is a hell of a play from the star 5'8". On the short side and last play, threw a dummy, didn't pass it to anyone. The Cowboys fell for it, He went down, a short side, got the bounce, and if there was a Bulldogs player just in better support, might have led to a try, but that was the next best thing. Great play from Burton.
Desperate effort also there from Chester to make the tackle on Burton. He's weaved his way around the fullback. What a kick he put in to get this repeat set. Marnie, as the crowd finds its voice. But as Moran is out there at the end, just over 5 remaining, the chant going up. Burton, he'll find Perham, sliding again, nothing doing. He can't find a runner for love nor money at the moment. They're 15 outs as Marnie waits. Wants to get up his sleeve this time. Preston is there looking for a hat-trick. Pokes his nose through the line, grabbed there by Townsend. They're deep on this right edge. Burton goes to Reynolds. He finds Perham. There's Flanagan. Avarillo, shuffling run. Good defence from the Cowboys, though. Dearden combining there with Holmes. Back to Flanagan, rubbering. Played there off the chest of Mitch Dunn, and he stays in the field of play. In his first game back from the knee reconstruction early last season, comes up the big grab right there for the Cowboys. A couple of times Kyle Flanagan just couldn't get the ball through the line at this end of the field in the second half. Felt now, after he saved the day a moment ago. 15 short of the halfway line, 4.5 remaining. Certainly at least you'd imagine a couple more sets for the Bulldogs. As Townsend kicks from inside the 40. Addo-Carr gets there on the full. Needs to bring it back and take whatever metres are available to him. He fends away from Hiku. Stayed with him there, grabbed him by the coattails. As Alamotti works it away from dummy half, we'll go down to Darcy.
More injury woes for the Bulldogs. Franklin Pele has come off with a suspected fractured forearm.
What a blow that is. They are really battling for middle forwards. Suddenly the Bulldogs, they'll be without Raymond Faitala-Mariner with the 11-day stand down for his concussion, having failed the test. Pele with a fractured forearm. They're already missing Tavita Pangai Jr. and Luke Thompson. Marnie goes to Burton. But here they are, still trailing by 4. 3.5 remaining against the Cowboys. Preston down the short side. Nothing doing there. They need the halves to take control at the back end of this set. They have one more play. Burton waiting at first receiver. He puts it up. End over end. Ockenbaugh is there. Taps it backwards. It falls for Carraz. Play on. Moran takes them on. Last tackle still. Touched by the Cowboys. It'll be a knock-on by North Queensland. The Bulldogs will retain the ball.
Well, this game's just getting more interesting as the time gets low. 3 minutes to go. Ockenbaugh, the former winger, in there. This is a great pass from Merrin just to keep the ball alive. The Cowboys got a hand on it. Avarillo thought he dropped the chocolates but was saved by the Cowboys' touch. And this is game time right now. This set. Ken Burton, 4-on-3 on a scrum play. Can he come up with a play to put Addo-Carr in the left corner?
He goes in that direction. Burton showing it. Gets away from Townsend. Burton takes it in goal. He might have been held up. Yes, he was. What strength he showed there. The old fake to the left-hand side. The Cowboys were thinking what you were thinking, Cooper. Burton tried to catch them out, and they got numbers there to hold him up. Now Reynolds. He gives it off to Moran. They're back inside the 10. Plenty of tackles here from close range. Reynolds goes to King. Taumalolo was there. Put a real shot on him. The call of hell came as the ball came out the back. It'll go back to Max King. He comes to Reynolds. Heads back towards the middle. Pops it over the top for Marnie. Here's King. A quick play the ball, and maybe the crash play again between Marnie and Preston. Preston's there if he wants to use him. Marnie does go that way. Hangs on to himself. They were waiting for him from dummy half. King for Flanagan. Shows it on the inside. Gets caught. The ball comes free. Touched by the Cowboys. 6 more for the Bulldogs. It's Perham. Taken down only just by Riley Price. He reached out. Penalty right in front.
Unacceptable.
The Cowboys had defence there, so it won't be a professional foul. Inside 90 seconds remaining, and it's a grandstand finish to finish round 5, live here on Fox League. Marnie from dummy half. Reynolds is there. Can he produce something at the back end in his first game as a Bulldog in 5.5 years? It comes to him now. Here's Perham. Flanagan showing it. Ockenball hit heavily by Holmes. They drag him down inside the 10. 3 tackles remaining, inside 60 seconds left. Flanagan's there. King swivels. Burton, Perham, hands, Alamonte, and O'Carr! The Fox goes in! The Fox scores for the Bulldogs, and we are locked up here! What a finish at the death! And O'Carr scores, and they'll have a chance to win it after the siren.
And if there was anyone in a core stadium that was going to score a try to tie this up, it was going to be Josh Addo-Carr on the left side. Interchange of passing, but have a look at this from Alamonte. Didn't even put his fingerprints on the ball. It was that silky smooth. In one movement, he gets the ball across the face of Kyle Feld. And Addo-Carr, one of the best finishers in our competition, finishes this game with no time left on the clock. 14 all, and the man with the left golden boot, Matt Burton, will have an opportunity to win it for the Dogs.
Watch Cameron Ciraldo. Never in doubt, hey Cameron. He looks towards the clock to see what time is remaining. And if Burton kicks here, we can dispense with golden points. There are Cowboys fans behind him, wishing him no luck. But this pro-Bulldogs crowd, one of the great moments they've seen here at this home venue for the Bulldogs in a number of seasons. It's been lean times for the Dogs. But their 3rd win in 2023 rests on this kick. From the sideline, the strike is good! It hits the upright and stays out! Just like the 2015 Grand Final. Same result, woodwork and no more. We'll do some extra time here, Cooper.
Well, you called it early on in the kickoff to the second half. Matt Burton with a shade of paint on the upright. Come on, he's calling it, come on, come on. And like all the crowd did here, hands on heads. Disappointed with the result, but there's still an opportunity, golden point. And you referred to the kickoff this second half where Tom Dearden dropped and juggled the ball. You referenced the 2015 Grand Final.
Oh, don't do it.
And here we are.
That would be such a shame for one of these two teams to have that situation play out here. But it is 14 all. It is remarkably similar. And, well, if you win the toss here, what do you want to do first off?
I think you want to kick off, because the reason why you kick off in conditions like this, if you can kick it deep and get your line speed and have a good defensive set, contact on the ball, you might dislodge the football, but you'll also restrict the opposition of getting off their own end. So I would kick off in this instance.
Well, the Cowboys won the toss. They'll stay running the same direction. There's no real wind. It's a factor here tonight, so no advantage there to choose on either end. And well, the golden point record, 23 times the Cowboys have been in this situation. They've won 13, lost 9, and drawn the 1. We've already had a draw this weekend. It happened yesterday up there at Mudgee. See how long we go here tonight. Will we go the full 10? What a weekend this has been.
Already today on a Sunday ticket. We saw what happened in the earlier game between the Warriors and the Sharks. And this game's delivered again. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Matt Burton with that left boot. Valentine Holmes, he's got a good record in Golden Point. He can kick it from anywhere.
Burton to get us underway in Golden Point between the Bulldogs and the Cowboys. Both teams have winning records in this situation. Taumalolo it is. They'll bring it out for the Cowboys. What have they got left in the tank, both of these teams? How courageous were the Bulldogs as Reynolds puts his body there in front of Coe and Hess. They've given so much. They've got to find something extra here. Both of these teams. It's Robson. Goes to Dunn. Brings it back within 10 of the halfway line. They've used up 4. Taumalolo wants another carry. It's all through the forwards just to get through this first set of 6 and try and put some pressure on the Bulldogs' back 3. Townsend down the short side. He puts it in the air. Perham coming forward has been good under the high balls tonight. Makes a catch. Skips away from the oncoming defence and brings it back to the 20. Alamotti in the background. Might have a calf problem with that left calf. Remembering they lost Raymond Faitala-Marin to a concussion early in the game. Franklin Pele there with a fractured arm. Max King came back with a badly damaged left eye that we'll hear, I'm sure, a lot more about beyond full time. And here he is here. He takes a carry. It's courage on display tonight from the Bulldogs front rower. Marnie for Morin. Oh, what a shot! Granville cleans him up at the halfway line. What about that for some energy at the back end of the game? Felt. He makes the catch. Brings it back to the middle where Chester looks up. There's a good chase from the Bulldogs. How about this from Jake Granville?
Not traditional impact player, but Granville, just perfect technique. Shoulder and physicality on the top of Morin. Good shot there from the interchange player.
Elliott with Morin returning serve, this time on the winger as Robson and dummy half. Comes to Petahiku, who will play it there. Robson, Chester charging, got away from Marnie, cleaned up there by Burton. Last play, outside the 40, Townsend kicking just for field position. Wise choice there. Perham again. He'll bring it back and he'll take the tackle in the middle of the field. Didn't want to dare head out towards the sideline to try and beat the defence on this greasy surface and put them in a situation where the Cowboys could really muscle up. Well, we've had a couple of sets for the Cowboys. Second one now for the Bulldogs. And we're just beyond the first midpoint of this first period in Golden Point. Alamotti out there on that left-hand side. Adokar comes back to Perham. Runs towards Mitchell Dunn. And the last play here for the Bulldogs. Burton again is the option. Under pressure there from Granville. It's a huge, huge kick. What a take by Tom Chester. The hang time was enormous. And the pressure, you can't believe the pressure on Tom Chester there. What a catch he makes.
Matt Burton got a hold of it. Great take from Chester. Here's the catch again. And more importantly for the Dogs, the Cowboys are struggling to get out of their own end. Terrific play from the kick, but even better play from Chester.
It would be remarkable if we get through this opening 5 minutes before a change of ends and nobody gets in a situation where they can take a field goal attempt. And here are the Cowboys with 60 seconds and change left. Townsend kicking down a very narrow short side. Boy, and then the toes of Hose Perham. They can't have been too far away from hitting the chalk there. Great kick by Townsend, and now there is real pressure on the Dogs.
Yeah, you don't want to lose it here as the Dogs. Don't overplay your hand, because if an error comes, you're going to give the Cowboys a chance.
And he thought about shifting it there. Avarillo decides to take the tackle and not give it to Ockenball. That was a wise choice. Here's Carraz. Got away from Griffin Neem. 3 plays gone, just outside their own 20. And a couple of good carries here. Oh, Burton kicks. Talk about rolling the dice. And okay. tips over the top. Here's the Fox leading the race. The bounce is awful. The Cowboys hang on. Preston dives on it. 6 again. 10 seconds remaining.
Take it.
It comes back to Burton from out wide. He strikes it. He likes it. And the Bulldogs have pulled off a miracle. What a win by the Dogs. Burton from out wide kicks the field goal. They win it 15-14. Watch it again.
Here is Matt Burton. The opportunity to kick the conversion in normal regulation, but in the hardest part, he had the calm, the precision, and the skill to kick a 40-metre field goal and win it for the Dogs. What a finish. What a day on the Sunday ticket. And if the Dogs were to win it, it was always going to be Addo-Carr and Burton. Addo-Carr scored it. Addo-Carr set it up with the kick and chase. But Matt Burton, with the golden left boot, has absolutely come out with a clutch play here to win it for the Dogs. Outstanding.
What a weekend this has been. Round 5 in 2023. We'll remember it for a long, long time. This might be the best season we've ever seen of rugby league in this country. It's been amazing. Josh Reynolds comes back. He's a winner. First game back in 5.5 years with the Dogs.
And how good was the finish? First, the courage, the skill to kick the ball over the top for this man on the screen to hit the accelerator, drop it back into 4th gear, gets the bounce, and I thought it was set up for a miracle try here for Josh Addo-Carr, but the bounce of the ball goes the wrong way. Jake Preston, the young man, dives on the ball, gets a pass, 2 passes back to Matt Burton with 10 seconds on the clock. He sits back, puts it in the sweet spot, and puts the ball over the black dot. What a finish. Congratulations to both teams, but Josh Addo-Carr and Matt Burton take a bow.
Unbelievable. In Golden Point, the Bulldogs beat the Cowboys 15-14. So much to talk about.